So right now we're doing something a little bit different here at LogiSYM 2021. And I think this is the first time we're doing something called a charity presentation. Really doing our bit for the wider community and, in a sense, for people less fortunate. And you may have heard with COVID-19 raging around the world, it's been a difficult time for those people who make their living on ships, the seafarers. And to tell us more about this and to tell us more about the organization, the mission to Seafarers Singapore, we're really delighted to welcome to LogiSYM 2021 Mr. Toh Soon Kok, who is the port chaplain at that organization. So, Mr. Toh, can I ask you to go ahead and give your talk and tell us all about the mission to seafarers? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob, for the very detailed introduction. All right. Very good afternoon to one and all. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Soon Kok, Port Chaplain of the Mission to Seafarers Singapore. I've been serving in this ministry for nearly 20 years. And for those who are not familiar, Port Chaplain to a seafarer is like a pastor to a church. We look after the total well-being of those who sail on board ships. Sailors can come to us should they encounter any problems. Help will be rendered to sort out their issues. If there is anything that is beyond us, they will be referred for further intervention if they so wish to. So once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to raise an awareness for the work of seafarers. Friends, if you take a close look around yourself, you will notice that more than 90% of the merchandise are transported via the sea route. Yes, these things reach us by ships, but who are the people responsible for navigating the ships? Please allow me to show you a video, and this video will tell us a little bit more about the significance of shipping.
At a time when the world stopped, ships kept moving. People still shopped, ships kept on proving. The volume of trade that's moved by sea, 90% of trade, actually. Crops that are weighed, cars that are sprayed, and it's easy to see the impact this makes. Fruit and vegetables, toys and collectibles, wheats and grains, the blood in the veins. Like to land a farmer is, ships are to the sea. And if the world is the heart, ships are the arteries, which stock the pharmacies, move essential commodities. So there's a lot at stake across these seas. Without these routes, half the world would starve, while the other half would freeze. Without these bright-colored containers, the four walls in our house that contain us would be empty. The books we read, the animal feed, the oil we need, the global lives that we lead. No oil, no cars, no essential spare parts. The sea's version of stars, those flickering lights on the horizon, by moon and by sun, but the journey is never done. As a supertanker proves, the distance it moves is equivalent to 3 times around this earth a year. And we are served by over 61,000 ships. The things we buy, the things that shops sell, the 1.7 million seafarers, it's more than just engines that propel this industry. And it's easy to see that a lot is owed to the people that load. 6,000 ports worldwide, but it's not all plain sailing. It's rough seas and piracy warnings and the change that this inevitably causes. The sea covers 70% of our planet, so you can see why we need to plan it. A global community of knowledge and passion, from salt and sugar to the latest fashion. Our ships keep moving products we love using. Ships make the world go. They help trade flow and let business grow.
All right. We want to thank BIMCO for making this video available for us. Now, according to this video, there are more than 1.7 million active seafarers making sacrifices, working under life-endangering conditions to bring what we need to our shore. They are exposed to great dangers from hazardous cargo the ships are carrying, confronting the wrath of Mother Nature, and they often have to sail into pirate-infested area to make the deadline. Now, according to IHS Markit, hundreds of seafarers died or went missing every year while working at sea. Now, these stats were collated from 2015 to 2019. The general public may not be fully aware of these issues. We can enjoy the things we are enjoying because someone is risking their lives to make that happen. Friends, you and I can come home safely to our families after a hard day's work. I believe the seafarers have every right to earn their keep and return home safely to their loved ones too. Therefore, it is imperative for us at this point in time to recognize seafarers as essential workers for the sacrifices they made while bringing our daily necessities, our food, our clothes, our medical equipment, etc., to our shore. The recent Suez Canal saga caused a huge tremor to the global trade. This is a vital sign that shipping can significantly affect the world's economy. One single 200,000 ton mega ship, the size of 4 football fields, is capable to block up the whole of Suez Canal. Although the ship Ever Given was finally freed after 6 days, the impact can be felt now, and I believe in the coming months. This delay has worsened an ongoing material shortage that hindered global production. According to Lloyd's list, they estimate around 12% of the global trade passes through the Suez Canal, more than 9 billion worth of goods per day. And that translates to 400 million per hour. This is an indication that the safety of the cargo ships will be something to keep an eye on moving forward. So much have been touched on for ships. Now, what about the manpower who ensure the seaworthiness of the vessels? And that leads me to bring your attention to the challenges seafarers face. Well, seafarers have been suffering for the longest time. Crew members have been battling fatigue. Their bodies are approaching a state of snapping. Tiredness and exhaustion are on the rise. Repercussions from reducing manpower due to competition with more work to accomplish. Their tolerance is being stretched, and working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for lengthy periods can take a toll on their health. And on board ships, stress and tension levels are rising. Given a tight deadline and last-minute changes, masters and officers were accused of working crews without due consideration. Issues such as race, politics, and bullying on board were not doing any good to the already tensed atmosphere. There were increasing reports of bullying, with the multinationality the biggest contributing factor for such problems. Things have been deteriorating since the onset of the pandemic. Today, whenever a seafarer commits to joining a vessel, he has quietly accepted that he does not know when he will come home. Many seafarers are still stuck out at sea because of lockdowns and travel restrictions. Now, for every seafarer who are stuck on board, many more are stuck at home, not able to join ships to earn an income for their family. And this duress can lead to an increase in mental stress, possibly leading to depression or worse, self-harm. COVID-19 has changed many things within a short space of time. I don't think there is any vocation that is more isolated than the seafarers, especially during a pandemic. Across the world, there are many issues affecting crew members in negative ways. They are frustrated with the absence of shore leave. That is to say, they are not able to enjoy their leaves at shore, doing simple things such as getting a haircut at a barber shop, or enjoying their favorite fried chicken at Jollibee outlet. As mentioned, the mission to seafarers have been looking after the total well-being of seafarers, more so during these unprecedented times. Today, we continue to reach out to seafarers regardless of race, nationalities, and religion in more than 200 ports in 50 countries. Seafarers continue to face challenges due to the nature of their work. Just as shipping patterns have changed, our services to seafarers have also evolved to cater for their changing needs. To help raise awareness of their needs, the Mission to Seafarers has formulated a campaign. We call it the Seafarers Happiness Index. This is to gauge the degree of satisfaction while crew are sailing. It's a barometer of not just the pain points seafarers at sea face today. Improvements made over this period can also be reflected. And this is done through a collection of survey with 10 key questions answered anonymously. The main aim is to collect their thoughts and feelings, focusing on a range of different issues such as mental health, physical well-being, general working life, and also connection with our families. And these data are then analyzed and a report generated. The survey is carried out on a quarterly basis so that there can be a comparison on how things have changed over this period. It also provides an insight to the industry about changes that appear to have a positive impact on the lives of seafarers. For those of you who would like to take a peek at the more detailed report, you may go to www.happyatsea.org. As with all shore-based workers, chaplains are not immune from the restrictions. And in light of the pandemic, we are now prepared for a new phase of our work. Face-to-face or in-person meetings are almost impossible now for fear of the risk of transmission. We are now delivering our work on the digital platform where seafarers have access to chat with a chaplain 24/7. There are 25 trained and qualified chaplains all over the world in all time zones to operate this chat line. This is to respond to seafarers' immediate concerns. Chaplains are trained in mental first aid and pastoral counseling. They will identify the issues and refer problematic cases to the nearest chaplains for further intervention. Within the region of East Asia, apart from caring for seafarers, educating their families is also what we have been aiming to achieve. We have set up a family network in the Philippines to reach out to families of seafarers who need help in their absence. Chapters in various provinces in Philippines are put in place to effectively reach out to them. The program We Care has been developed to help educate seafarers as well as their families, training them in areas such as responsible communication, giving serious thoughts before communicating with seafarers about things happening at home, which they can do absolutely nothing about, causing unnecessary anxiety while at sea. Training them in areas of time management for social media on board, reordering their priorities, getting sufficient rest rather than spending excessive time with their mobile gadgets, guarding seafarers against internet addictions for social media and online gaming. Financial management is another area, saving their hard-earned money rather than splurging unnecessarily, giving instructions in terms of budgeting and managing their spending. Another important aspect is cybersecurity. With the increase in online scamming, cautioning them to guard against scammers is also essential. Now, these are just some issues their families face which are worthwhile looking at. Now, in their absence from home, I believe seafarers will feel at peace if they are aware that there is someone their families can turn to should they encounter problems. Locally, the Mission to Seafarers has been around for more than 90 years. We are guided by a team of dedicated management committee members from the shipping industry. This group of volunteers support the work by helping us raise funds to keep us going. Now let us watch another video which will give us a clearer picture of who we are in a local context. The Mission to Seafarers has been around in Singapore for more than 90 years. We are there to help seafarers, their families, and in the advocacy of seafarers and the spreading of the gospel. We go on board the ship to visit the crew to seek out those with problems. Every year,
More than 2,600 seafarers have met with an accident on the job, and because they are far away from home, there's no one to support them. Over 3,000 seafarers have been held hostage by pirates, and there's no one to help them deal with their post-traumatic fear, either emotionally or psychologically. Being away from home sets them feeling very lonely, very isolated. We reach out to them to see if they have any spiritual needs. We will pray with them and we act as counselor to see if they need help with their salary or with their relationship with their colleagues. We can always act as a role of a mediator. When I go on board the ship, I always ask the captain for permission to conduct a spiritual service. They don't have to be Christians. It can be anyone from any faith who wishes to join the service. Being a chaplain, I'm always concerned with the well-being of a seafarer. I will always come alongside him to ask him how is he doing, how is his family faring, is there any other things that I can do to help him, is there anything that we can pray for him. Our drop-in centers are a home away from home for seafarers. We provide free Wi-Fi, telephone, simple recreation like snooker, darts, massage chair, and we give out free clothing and books for them to take away. Once a month, we provide free dinner for seafarers for them to come together for fellowship. Sometimes if they needed to go to the city and they need transport, we'll bring them to the city free of charge. For us, helping seafarers brings us tremendous joy. We are always on standby to care for seafarers wherever they are. This seafarer was hospitalized for over 6 months. He has lost both his legs and is all alone here in Singapore. Most of the time, they do not have families, they do not have friends here. The mission to Seafarers Singapore is the only friend they have. We are there to support, to be a friend to them. Seafarers deliver 90% of the food and products we use every day. And so it's important to care for their well-being. The mission to seafarers can only do this through support and donations from you. So please help us. Thank you.
Well, I hope by now you'd have a better understanding of who we are and what we do. One main concern raised by the industry is the recruitment of the next generation of seafarers. If we want seafarers on board tomorrow, we need to tackle these issues today. Now, even before the pandemic, the maritime world did not have a positive image, and becoming a seafarer was not as attractive as it was. The pandemic and the crew change crisis have certainly not helped with this. But to encourage a person to stay on in his career, now, apart from fulfilling his basic needs such as salary, food, communication, a good career path, now finding out his needs is certainly the first step in order to retain him. I believe showing gratitude and giving due recognition to any persons would greatly motivate them to find joy in their work. Now, all I can say is ignore the plight of seafarers at your own peril. Mr. Esmond Paulson, the chairman of the International Chambers of Shipping, who is also vice president of the Mission to Seafarers, commented this, and I quote, "The problem is that seafarers, to the average person, are out of sight, out of mind. But they are our unsung heroes. And we must take action at a time they really need our help. The good news is the situation has alleviated in recent months with the industry responding. The ICS, for instance, worked with the International Air Transport Association and other stakeholders to identify practical solutions, such as designating a number of crew change airports to facilitate the safe movement and repatriation of crew. The Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, MPA, has been working with the industry, with seafarers unions and the Singapore Shipping Association to facilitate crew changes through a safe corridor and setting widely accepted industry protocols." Unquote. These actions are timely in view of heightened stress and tension levels. A repatriation of crew change is not readily available in most countries at this point in time. It is one of the ways we can mitigate the challenges in ensuring sustainable recruitment for younger seafarers for the future. Friends, time has changed, and so has shipping pattern. Technology has improved, efficiency has increased, and moving in tandem, so has stress level among seafarers. As such, we are trying to keep pace with their needs and provide up-to-date services to remain relevant. With what seafarers are going through, we are aiming to stand in the gaps to provide a platform where they can connect and chat with us even though shore leave and face-to-face interactions are not possible. We are doing all we possibly can to alleviate the mental stress among seafarers. And with these sessions, we hope to raise the awareness of our outreach to seafarers, and so we plead with you to support us to help seafarers. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Toh, for telling us all about the mission to seafarers. And I think everybody would agree that you're doing a really great, a really fantastic job for a community who, in your own words, say are out of sight and out of mind. And especially now with the COVID-19 situation. And I think it puts our own lockdowns into perspective. If you've stuck out at sea for 18 months now, or probably it's coming up to 2 years for some people, it's a very, very tough. I'm sure very mentally taxing as well, being away from their family and their friends and their homes for such an extended period. So you said at the end of the video, please help us. So what's the best way that we can help you for those of us in logistics?
Well, our objective here is today is to create an awareness about who we are and what we do. Apart from reaching out to the shipping industry, we hope to cast our nets a little wider to the logistics sectors as well. So our main aim at the moment is to create an awareness. That's about all. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yes, and I think you've definitely done that today at LogiSYM 2021, and it's been great to have you here to talk to all our delegates.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Right. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
And with that, we are now going for a break, and we'll be back at 3:15. So that starts in about half an hour or so, with our next panel session, which will be on the hot topic of cold chain, the future of cold chain logistics in Asia Pacific. So do tune in for that.